trying to be as an assistant.
No, I get that, and you're in a really unique situation whereby you've got like so much experience. You've worked with like really top athletes. You've been to two Olympics yourself, but yet technically you're an assistant role. But I mean, I see your job as your club are fortunate to have two head coaches, you and Claude. So
I don't know how he's gonna love it or not, but thank you.
But yeah, that's definitely a unique situation. But you've actually found a model that works for you and for Claude and for CAMO, and that's like honest. The people who benefit from this are your swimmers, and that's cool. And I know because one of our swimmers, Gia Mensa, and her brother went out to CAMO, joined you guys last year. Mm-hmm. And she's come back, and I actually bumped into her grandparents the other day, and she's having a great time, tells me great things about the club. She came back and she looked fantastic. Actually, she's swimming really, really well. She came in for a little bit of training a few months back. So yeah, that's a model that actually works really well for you.
And that's something that it's not perfect. We are trying to improve. Since this year, we have two new coaches in the team, and we decided to divide women and boys, or girls and boys, into different groups, and that's working really, 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 really well so far. It's a hell of a job for those coaches. As we say in French, chapeau.
Right.
Because because you have to coach a team with different age group all afternoon. It's a lot of work but they are well organized. And I think it was working really, really well. I was excited to see how the year was going to end, but we see how we're going to restart on that. But this structure and that stuff is always moving and trying to improve, and I think we have to improve because we want as well to help Quebec to bring more good athletes and come back to the level where we should be.
Yeah, well, that was actually going to be, I was going to throw a question in there for you at some point, and that was the question I was going to ask you about, because to my knowledge, I don't know, maybe there are other programs in Canada that have split it, girls, boys for training, but I don't know of any off the top of my head. I was going to ask, after 6-7 months, like, how do you evaluate what was going on? Did you have any doubts 2 or 3 months in that you were doing the right thing? Or were you committed to just like going with it? And these are lots of questions, but are you going to keep on doing this potentially whenever we get back?
I really, really want to keep on doing that. I think that's, and we start that. So we have to go through at least 4 years of it to be able to say if it's working or if it's interesting or not. Yeah. But on a day-to-day basis, me personally, I started to do this when I talked to a coach Quebecois coach a few years ago about it, and introduced that idea in my brain, and it always was there since. And when I start to do that in my practices, separate the boys and the girls, the set, like we do sometimes, or because sometimes you have two different starting time in your set, so you adapt and you find yourself with more boys or more girls. And I decided to go more boys, because my group was always been very homogeneous, they could work together very well. But I decided boys to do girls, and you could see the difference of acting, behave between them. The way the boys between boys, they are boys. The girls between girls, they can be girls as well, and it's very, very different. And I love to do it. Sometimes it's not very easy, because sometimes I have 3 workout or 4 workout on the board, so I cannot do it. But when I'm going to one workout, I always try to I've done it less this year, or I would say the past 18 months. But I think that's something that, and I brought that to Claude at the beginning, and he saw it, and he saw the way it was working as well. And we didn't talk for it between for I don't know, 2 years or 18 months, and we come back to it. It's okay. Next year we do this. So I was very, very, very happy, and I'm excited about it. Very fun on that aspect, and that's something that I really, to me, it's another issue that we have. We train too much the boys like the girls. Because in the maturity, the girls, physiologically, they are ahead. They're going to take more, they're going to go faster, earlier, and going to be a little bit bigger as well. And in the personality, they are very different as well. And I do think that the boys into that can some get lost, you know. If you can get give a chance to both of them to develop, grow a little bit on their side, but differently, I think it's a winning situation. And what I would love to do, if it's possible one day, is to bring that to my group where I'm working now and try to separate. But it's a lot of organization. There's a lot of idea. It's a challenge. We see in a few years, but I think that's great. I'm very excited about it. I want to see how it's going to work. You know, because I do think that in Quebec, you were asking, there is no other program doing it. I think Pointe-Claire tried it 1 year.
Okay.
For some reason, it didn't work that well. I will have to ask the head coach about it more. But and in Canada, I don't think it's. I know in the NCAA in the US they do it a lot.
Yeah,
that's working for them. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that there's a couple of British programs that do it, and particularly one in Scotland that I think still do it and very successful. Tell me about the reaction whenever you announced this was going to happen? Did you kind of, whenever you announced it to the club, what was the reaction from the swimmers? What was the reaction from the parents? You know, was there instant buy-in because you guys have been, you know, successful at what you do for a long time, so you've already established a lot of trust? Or were there a lot of questions? Was there any kind of pushback?
You know, there is never enough trust. Never enough. You know, so we always have to show and explain and go through it. I think it went well, especially because it was well presented and well organized. You know, the way we started. And I mean, we have 2 coaches leading that program. And again, I mean, they are doing a hell of a job doing that, and it's a hell of a job. And the way it was presented, I mean, we have a meeting at the beginning of the year where we usually do a meeting between group, you know.
Right.
This time we did a meeting with all the coaches where I could present everyone. And after that first meeting, we had a meeting with different group in the same room, like in different places. And during that meeting, the 2 coaches, Marie and Dominic, explained how it was going to go and stuff. And it went really, really well. And I think so far everyone is happy. Of course, it's not perfect. You know, we'll always wish we have more space and more time to run stuff. And I do not think if Dominic and Marie have like more than 30 minutes in the afternoon to move to one practice to another, you know, because they want to do so much, because they want to do so much and achieve so much stuff as well, not just on deck, in the water, there's stuff outside of the water where we are trying to work and improve a lot as well. So that's a challenge all the time, and we see how it goes.
It's an interesting case study.
We see, like you know, like I always like that quote from Bill. When was the last time you did something for the first time? That's a little